everybody to Worldwide Technology Raceway. My name is Josh Hall. This is the Original Rebels Racing League Grand National Series here on Intensity Broadcasting on iRacing. We're getting ready for 100 heart-pounding laps from this oddly shaped oval. Jonah Colbert currently at the top of the road. Out on track right now, currently in second, spinning through Logan Sturgeon. There's a name you haven't heard in a while. Currently in the fourth position. And why do I say Gateway is a very oddly shaped track? Well, it's very egg-shaped. Kind of like a Darlington, but a little bit more wide. You see the shape there, and the two distinct corners really can play into some drivers' hands. It does kind of run a bit like a road course. We might see a little bit of shifting involved here as well. So, being a very, very tricky, flat, fast oval, that kind of races like a road course. We're going to see exactly. I just realized I do apologize if you couldn't hear me over the race engine. So, you see, as I was saying, Gateway is a very, very odd-shaped, egg-shaped oval. A little different than, say, Darlington, where the corners are very, very flat here and they're wide. You can run 2 and 3 wide easily through the corner. Shifting may come into play here as well. So we see Logan Sturgeon out on track, a name we haven't seen in quite a while. He's got Steve McDonald right behind him, trying to get some laps at this tricky Worldwide Technology Raceway track. As we see Logan Sturgeon gets I believe that was Bertosa that just went flipping over the nose there. See Matt Kleeman also out on track, and let's ride along with Kleeman. Take a look at this track. Down the backstretch. It doesn't sound like Kleeman's doing any shifting yet, but we'll listen. And we'll see if anybody does do any shifting as the run goes on. See Matt coming into turns 1 and 2, which is the wider of the two corners there. So that's going to be a little bit faster because of how large the radius is. Then you come down into turns 3 and 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Now we're coming through turns 1 and 2. So that's the wider of the two. The map has me a little messed up. Let's try this one more time. All right, now Kleeman's coming down into turns 1 and 2, which is the shorter radius of the two corners. And you hear how quickly he's down on the throttle, trying to get a good launch down the backstretch. Now we'll make his way down into turns 3 and 4, which is the wider of the two corners. And here it feels like you just wait forever to exit this corner and get back to the gas full throttle. And that's a lap here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So we got about 30 seconds left before qualifying gets underway. Let's take a look at our points coming into tonight. We see Eddie Smith currently at the top of the board. Charles Stevens sits back in second. Brandon Wallace, Jason Warren, and Andy Kurtz, your top 5. Brandon Pollock sits back in 6. Matt Kleeman, Jonathan Cofield, Jason Lottridge, and Steve McDonald, your top 10. Then Daniel Cunningham, Michael Kosick, Greg Barnett, Aaron Adcock, and Jonah Colbert make up the top 15. As qualifying is about to get underway. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We do appreciate you coming in. Again, this is the Original Rebels Racing League Rebels Outlaw Grand National Series, excuse me. See our first driver making his way out on track, and that is the 54 of Daniel Cunningham. As Cunningham gets up the speed, coming to take the green flag for his first of 2 laps here. Cunningham makes his way down onto the front stretch. His first lap is going to put him up to the 33.5. Joe Colbert runs a 33.7. Eddie Smith with a 33.2. I apologize, there's something up on the screen that I did not want up there. There we go. It's comparing the time with 5th place Tyler Rice. But Eddie Smith currently up to the top of the board. He's going to just run the 1 lap. Andy Kurtz currently in 2nd. And right now, Eddie Smith, the only driver to break down into the 2s, running a 33.25. Andy Kurtz ran a 33.31. Few drivers still left to qualify as Daniel Cunningham making his way down on the pit road. You kind of get some pit road practice. You do have to use the access road coming onto pit road here, which can be tough in its own right. Will Griffith just finishing up his lap. See Jason Lottridge out on track. Logan Sturgeon up into the 5th position. See if he's able to improve on his 2nd lap here as he's getting ready to make his way down into turns 3 and 4. And off of turn number 4, and Sturgeon is going to improve his time, jump up into the 4th position. Aaron Johnson just jumped up the P5 on his first lap. You'll see him the 21 on the scoring pylon, but the 88 on the screen. Johnson makes his way down. Oh, might have caught the wall there a little bit. We'll see if his time improves or not. He actually slowed down on that 2nd lap due to the getting really loose off the corner. Matt Kleeman coming off of turn number 4. And across the line, and Kleeman is going to stay P10. Still have 4 drivers left to qualify. Mike Petosa Jr., Matt Knights, Josh Lokovitz, and Chris Reese, excuse me. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us in here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We do appreciate you spending your Friday night here with us with the Original Rebels Racing League. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com. There is a link down below where you can find hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, what have you, of not just Intensity Broadcasting, but all your favorite leagues, as well as merchandise for Atlee Atman Weiss, who just finished up his tour down at Charlotte Motor Speedway in his Bandolero. So if you want to support the young man, you can check out his merchandise, which is there as well. let's take a look at our starting grid. Of course, as always, your Peg Leg Felts Pole Award is going to go to the 87 of Eddie Smith. Andy Kurtz is going to roll off in P number 2. Mike Kosick and Logan Sturgeon, they'll share row 2 with Aaron Johnson and Jonah Colbert sitting back in row number 3. Daniel Cunningham, he'll roll off from the 7th position with Tyler Rice to his outside. In 8th, Charles Stevens Jr. and Matt Kleeman are going to round out your top 10. Steve McDonald roll off 11th with William Griffith in the 12th spot. Then you'll find Ray Page in the 41 in the 13th spot, and Jason Lottridge starting his outside in 14th. Brandon Wallace and Chris Reese, they'll share row number 8 with Josh Lokenvitz, Mike Bertosa Jr., and Matt Knights rounding out the rest of the field here at Worldwide Technology Speedway. Still getting used to calling it that, used to calling it Gateway Speedway. Hello, y'all. Tough luck on the truck race, Mr. Hall is rooting for you. Yeah, had a issue the other night. I know the qualifying race, I thought I was going to have a good finish there, and unfortunately got shuffled out by my teammate. But then we were able to, due to lack of numbers, race in the regular race, and I ended up blowing my motor on pit road. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you check out the SCSRA All-Star race, which was an absolutely wild race. We had the Pro 4 trucks at Michigan as our All-Star race, running the oval. The grass was not out of bounds, so there was times where we were 5, 6, and 7 wide down the front stretch. So it was a wild race. It was a lot of fun to be in. I know Atlee had a blast calling it, and we look forward to doing some more fun races like that in the future. But right now, we got a race to worry about here, and that is this race. Kevin, good to see you in the chat there. I don't see Garrett in the race, though. Not sure where he is tonight. But we're getting ready to do 100 laps here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Eddie Smith and Andy Kurtz are going to lead you down to the green flag. Pace car getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Kinder says he's sitting about 4 feet left of the old man. There you go. As we are underway and down the backstretch, they come. Big jump for Eddie Smith on the start here. But Mike Kosick already trying to look to the inside of Andy Kurtz as they come down into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Andy going to get able to get out in front of that 8 machine and come across the line for the first time. It's going to be the 87 of Eddie Smith. Aaron Johnson starting to get a good run here on Logan Sturgeon. Just behind, we see Daniel Cunningham taking a look down to the inside of Tyler Rice. He's got the 88 of Charles Stevens Jr. right behind as we see a big moment out of the 21 of Aaron Johnson. Trying to get around Jonah Coble. He's able to hold on to it as we see Cunningham still trying to move himself forward. And he's going to pass both Tyler Rice and Aaron Johnson. Johnson, though, fighting back on the high side. And he's going to clear Cunningham as they go down into turn number 1. Just behind, we see a battle between William Griffith and Charles Stevens Jr. And, ooh, big wiggle out of the 12 of Griffith. He's able to hold on to it, so great job for him. Not wiping out the field there because it's really hard. Once these old Gen 6 cars get a little sideways, sometimes there's just no saving them. So great job for Griff, able to hold on to that car as he's got a little challenge coming from behind in the form of the 48 of Jason Lottridge. Now Griff looking up to the high side of Junior, Charles Saban Jr., but he's not going to be able to make that move. Oh, one into the wall behind. That looked like the 62 of Chris Reese just caught the outside wall. He's able to continue on. We see Matt Kleeman way up high, battling with Ray Page. Page going to move himself up into the 12th position. Again, this track lends itself to some very interesting racing. It is very wide in the corners, so it allows drivers to run some different lines. Very flat racetrack, kind of runs like a road course. As the race runs on, we might see a little bit of shifting, as well as Mike Kosick now taking a look down to the inside of Andy Kurtz, and Kosick is going to take away that second position as he slides up in front of Andy Kurtz. And now Logan Sturgeon taking a look down to the inside of Kurtz as well. It's just not quite close enough to make that move work. Now behind, we've got the battle side by side. Jonah Colbert making his way around Logan Sturgeon. So move Colbert up into the 4th position. But up front, it's all Eddie Smith. He's got about a half a second lead over Mike Kosick, and it is growing. The last time by, Kosick did run a little bit faster lap than Eddie Smith. And now Andy Kurtz, Mike Kosick, and Jonah Colbert and Logan Sturgeon there all under a blanket as they make their way off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. So these 4 cars are duking it out right now, and though they're racing each other pretty hard, they're staying right about the same speed as Eddie Smith as well. And we know Eddie knows how to save tires. We know he's good on the long run. So we're going to have to see exactly how well he can run this out as Jonah Colbert takes a look down underneath Andy Kurtz. They are side by side for the 3rd position. And move Jonah up a spot into 3rd. Now Sturgeon taking a look down underneath Kurtz. Ooh, another big wiggle out of the 5 this time. So we're seeing drivers having a little bit of trouble off of turn to number 2, getting the traction down. And as the run continues, that's just going to get worse and worse as that right rear starts to heat up. Ray Page making a look down to the inside of Jason Lottridge down into turn number 1. Oh, that was Aaron Johnson. That was just completely sideways off the corner. They were 3 wide for a second as Ray Page makes his way around the 48. So move Ray Page up into the 10th position. And Aaron Johnson having some struggles here early as Matt Kleeman now trying to take a look down underneath Jason Lottridge. He will clear the 48 machine, and now Steve McDonald. See if he's close enough to try to make a move. Well, he's got the 79 of Josh Lokovitz right there on the back bumper. And a little up front, Andy Kurtz and Jonah Colbert going at it for the 3rd position again. This time Kurtz is going to try to take that position back from Jonah Colbert. Colbert, though, fighting hard back on that high side. Of course, as I mentioned, a very flat track. Turns 1 and 2 is banked at 11 degrees. 3 and 4 at 9 degrees as Logan Sturgeon trying to take the outside around Andy Kurtz. And Sturgeon's going to take over that 4th position as Daniel Cunningham slowly reeling in these first 4 drivers. Kurt stays right there, loitering on the back bumper of the 26 of Sturgeon. Kurtz gets the big draft down the front stretch, down into turn number 1, just not quite close enough. Try to make a move just yet. All the while, Daniel Cunningham slowly reeling in these cars in front of him. One driver making his way down onto pit road. That is the 43 of Mike Petosa Jr. As Andy Kurtz got loose, and oh, we got caution out on the track, and it looks like it's for the 12 of William Griffith. And that's going to bring up our first Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind as we take a look to see what happened to Griff. We see he's running by himself. And just hits the throttle, gets to back to the throttle a little too hard. Sends that machine right around, and heavy damage to the 12. Remember, here in the Grand National Series, they have a couple different rules. They do not have any resets like you see in some of the other series. They also use the restart zone as well as the choose rule. We'll go over those in just a moment as Eddie Smith is leading the field down onto pit road. Trying to get a good view here of the cars making their way down pit road. Tyler Rice stays out. Eddie Smith's going to come down to his pit stall. Andy Kurtz will be the last to hit his pit stall. Right sides are up on everybody's car here. Let's see what they do on the left side. See if anybody takes just right sides. And there it is. Daniel Cunningham. And it looks like, I believe that's Ray Page. Yep, Ray Page, both taking right sides only. Actually, Ray Page took fuel only. His pit stop was just 0.65 seconds. So just a splash of gas for the 41. Daniel Cunningham is going to move up into the 4th position with taking just 2 tires. Tyler Rice is going to take over the lead, staying out on track. As now Jason Lottridge going to make his way down pit road. So a couple different rules here in this series. We do have the choose rule, which means drivers can choose whether they want to restart on the inside lane or the outside lane, regardless of what row they're starting. Usually that's reserved for just the leader. But here we can do it on every driver, which can make things a little interesting. Sometimes you may want to give up a position or two to start on the more preferred line. So we'll have to see where people line up on this restart. The other rule is the restart zone. So as they make their way down onto the front stretch, you'll see off of turn number 4, there is a blue box that is signified by the words Geico. That is the Geico restart zone, and the leader has to fire off in that zone. He must maintain pace speed and accelerate within that box. If he accelerates too early, he'll get black flagged for jumping the start. If he takes off too late, the green flag will come out and racing will resume with or without the leader. But it takes a little bit of, puts a little gamesmanship back into the leader while doing it fairly and safely. So if you look on the inside wall right there, it says Geico. That is your Geico restart zone. You'll see it on both the inside and outside wall as Tyler Rice looks like he's going to choose the outside lane. Daniel Cunningham's going to choose inside. Eddie Smith is going to choose inside. Ray Page outside. Third row will be Jonah Colbert and Mike Kosick. Logan Sturgeon and Andy Kurtz back in row number 4. And then Charles Stevens Jr. and Aaron Johnson back in row 5. So here we go. Pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. You see the field making their way down into turns 3 and 4. Oh, a little bit of a checkup mid-pack. See that Geico restart zone on the outside wall. Green flag is back in the air. We're back to racing. And a big jump for the 6 of Tyler Rice as Eddie Smith tucks in behind Daniel Cunningham. Here comes Jonah Colbert looking up to the high side. And behind them we see Logan Sturgeon side by side with Ray Page. Andy Kurtz and Charles Stevens Jr. back here in the mix as well. Jr. take a look down to the inside, and he's going to move himself around the 5 of Kurtz. And a big wiggle out of the 41 of Ray Page. That's going to allow Kurtz to get around as well. Charles Stevens Jr. now looking down to the inside of Ray Page. Mike Kosick taking a look down to the inside of Tyler Rice. Rice already fallen back into the 5th position. So we're seeing those old tires are no match for new tires. And unfortunately, all those positions that he just gained by staying out, he has lost within the first lap. As Andy Kurtz tries to make a move around that 6th machine. And he'll make easy work of Tyler Rice. Here comes Aaron Johnson to do the same. And Josh Lokenvitz. Oh, almost makes some contact with Tyler Rice. As Jonah Colbert's taking a look down to the inside of Daniel Cunningham for the 2nd position. And Colbert's going to have the position, and he's going to take away that 2nd spot. Ooh, another big wiggle out of Logan Sturgeon. So a lot of drivers struggling with the exits of 2 and 4. As Kosick and Cunningham run side by side down the front stretch, along with Charles Stevens Jr. and Logan Sturgeon running side by side right behind them. So quite the battle we have going on back here from 4th to 7th. Andy Kurtz has a front row seat to everything going on in front of him as we see Stevens pushes up the track just a little bit, almost gets into the side of Sturgeon. Here comes Andy Kurtz trying to make a move up to the high side. As Eddie Smith is coming to the line this time, we will be a quarter of the way through the race. Now everybody's trying to get things settled down in single file, as Logan Sturgeon will move up into the 4th position. Cunningham, though, still under fire from the 88 of Charles Stevens Jr. See, Andy Kurtz able to drive in so much deeper than the 88 of Stevens. They're side by side down the front stretch. As Kurtz is trying to take over that 6th position. And he will. A little further back, a battle here between Chris Reese and Ray Page is for 15th and 16th. William Griffith right behind with that damaged car. Andy Kurtz making his way around the 54 of Cunningham. And Charles Stevens Jr. right there trying to follow through as well. And here comes Josh Lokovitz into the picture. Him and Aaron Johnson are side by side for 8th and 9th. Meanwhile, while that's been going on, Eddie Smith has pulled out to a 1.2 second lead over 2nd place Jonah Colbert. And then from Jonah, you got to go another 1.5 back to find the 8 of Mike Kosick. Logan Sturgeon currently sitting back in the 4th position. And Andy Kurtz finds himself in 5th, trying to battle himself back up towards the front. Charles Stevens Jr., he runs in 6th. Daniel Cunningham back in the 7th position. Josh Lokovitz, your biggest mover of the race so far, up 9 spots into the 8th position. Then you have Steve McDonald with Brandon Wallace all over the back bumper, and that's a battle for 9th and 10th. While we've got a moment, I want to thank all the great sponsors that make this league possible. Kinder Farm and Ranch, Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, Dark Horse Motorsports, Chuck Peg Leg Felts, JC Race Graphics, Rebels Racing Network, Intensity Broadcasting, all helping out making this league what it is. Being able to put on a great show for you guys like these drivers are doing here tonight. Josh Lokovitz starting to get a little bit of a run on Daniel Cunningham. But so far, just not close enough to try to make any kind of significant moves. Steve McDonald, though, right there on the back bumper of Logan Vitz, and he almost ran into the back of that 79 machine, and he had to check up. That allows Brandon Wallace to try to make a move on the 68. But just not within striking distance to make that pay off. Logan Sturgeon has Andy Kurtz starting to breathe down his neck here. Kurtz last time by was about 0.2 of a second quicker than the 26. Now we'll right along here with Logan Sturgeon. Because I'm curious if these guys are far enough into the run where they're starting to shift a little bit. Well, no shifting out of Logan Sturgeon on either end of the track. So we do know that shifting can burn a little bit more fuel, and this race might come down to a little bit of a fuel mileage race here. Andy Kurtz now taking a look down to the inside of Logan Sturgeon. We see a little damage to the back bumper of the 5 of Kurtz from when I believe it was Aaron Johnson got into him on the restart. Doesn't look like it's slowing him down, though. So they come off of down turn 2 and down the long backstretch. Sturgeon, though, able to get back in front of Andy Kurtz, and now Kurtz has a challenge from behind from Charles Stevens Jr. So Stevens Jr. really trying to get around the 5 of Andy Kurtz. Trying every trick in the book he can to get around that 5 machine. But so far, all unsuccessful. But it is still incredibly early in the running, as we've just completed lap 40 of 100. So 60 to go when they cross the line next time. Kurtz is going to make another run at it. Off of turn number 2. This time he's going to clear Logan Sturgeon. So move Andy Kurtz up into the 4th position. Saw Sturgeon almost just get up into the wall there, but able to hold on to it and fend off any advancements from the 88 of Charles Stevens Jr., although now Jr.'s got the position off of turn number 2. Off of turn number 4, and Charles Stevens Jr. is going to take that position away from Logan Sturgeon. Meanwhile, up front, it's all Eddie Smith. However, Jonah Colbert slowly starting to run him down. What was an over 1 second lead, a 1.2 second lead, is now shrank down to a 0.7 second lead over second place. As we were just a handful of laps away from halfway. So far for Eddie, though, clean sailing, no lap traffic to really speak of so far. Oh, Ray Page having some issues. He is back down and away, but a lot of damage to that 41 machine. No caution is out as we take a look. See exactly what happened to Ray Page off of turn number 4. I'll just pulled it to the left to keep from getting into the outside wall. Unfortunately catches both the outside and inside wall. He's going to make his way down to pit road. Brandon Wallace has Jason Lottridge all over the back bumper. Lottridge is going to make a move. Brandon Wallace able to stay out in front as Matt Kleeman now finds himself up into the 9th position. Jonathan Cofield says, let's go Kosick and McDonald, Bandit Motorsports. See Mike Kosick in the 8 machine currently running in the 3rd spot on the podium. Started 3rd and is currently running 3rd. Steve McDonald in the 68, currently running back in the 8th position. And he's gained 3 spots from where he started. And we have our first takers down on the pit road. Daniel Cunningham making his way down. Chris Reese also on pit road. Ray Page, as we mentioned, after hitting the wall, trying to get some of that damage fixed. I wonder if this is going to force the rest of the drivers like Eddie Smith, Jonah Colbert, Mike Kosick to come down pit road when they see just how much faster those drivers on fresh tires are going to be. Oh, Steve McDonald into the outside wall. Caution is out. That changes everything as we had drivers on pit road making pit stops. That's going to bring up our second Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind. So we take a look to see exactly what happened to Steve McDonald. See him already out of shape. Coming off the turn number 4. And what a lucky break for the 19 of Matt Kleeman. We're going to rewind this one and show you what I mean. Because if we look in slow motion here, due to the shape of this track, the wall jets out right here on the backstretch. If that jet out wasn't there, Steve McDonald would have caught the wall right there and bounced off of it right in front of the 19 of Matt Kleeman. Instead, He continues on past where the wall would be into that little runoff area, and it keeps Kleeman from getting any damage here. Let's take a look at this one more time. We'll look at it from the blimp, and you'll see exactly what I mean by how lucky Kosick was. Because if you're, I'm sorry, not Kosick, Kleeman was. Because if you look here, normally that car would bounce off the wall and come right back down to the inside of the track. Instead, it continues on right in front of Kleeman, and he's able to get by unscathed. Well, on pit strategy, Jonah Colbert's now made his way out into the lead. Eddie Smith now back in second. Mike Kosick third. Andy Kurtz and Charles Stevens Jr. your top five. As the cars continue to circulate here under caution, we want to thank everybody again for joining us here tonight on Intensity Broadcasting, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We do appreciate you joining us. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe, no matter what platform you're on. Of course, don't forget to tune in for the Original Rebels Racing League's Sunday Night Truck Series doubleheader every Sunday night, except for this one coming up, as they do have a bye week. But it kicks off Sunday at 8 p.m. with the Outlaw Trucks, followed by, at 10 p.m., the Original Rebels Racing League Sunday Night Truck Series, which is the original league that the league started with. Garrett Kinder says, nice dodge to the 19. In regards to Matt Kleeman, no, sir, that is a Chevy, not a Dodge. Now he's referring to the nice move that Kleeman made to get around the spinning 68 of Steve McDonald. As the lights are off on the pace car, we're getting ready to go back green flag racing. Jonah Colbert will restart from the first position. Eddie Smith will choose the outside. Second row will be Mike Kosick and Andy Kurtz. Logan Sturgeon, Charles Stevens Jr. make up row 3. Jason Lottridge and Matt Kleeman row 4. Then Tyler Rice and Brandon Cunningham back in row number 5. So here we go. The field is making their way off of turn number 4. Pace car is on pit road. John Colbert's going to lead them down to the Geico restart zone. Green flags back in the air. We are back racing. And Colbert's going to dive up to the high side, try to get that good jump and good run down into the corner. Keep himself up in the lead. A little further back, Logan Sturgeon and Andy Kurtz were battling at it. Kurtz is going to win that battle, move himself up into the 4th position. So here comes Sturgeon fighting back hard on that low side. Jonathan Cofield says Kleeman's going to have to change his underwear after that close call. That is a good possibility. That one was a little bit too close for comfort. The field's all spreading out single file. just trying to save a bit of fuel to make it to the end on one more stop. So I'll take a moment and take a look at a couple of these paint jobs here. So I do know that we have the No Neck Paint of the Night Award to give out. And we'll take a look here at the 31 of Jonah Cobert in them Hooten Haulers machine. Great looking car for sure. See Logan Sturgeon in his familiar orange and blue. Brandon Wallace in that flat black Yamaha machine. Tyler Rice in the Rice Farms machine. And you got Daniel Cunningham supporting the local animal hospital. Josh Lokovitz in the Harley Davidson machine. So a couple of really, really nice paint jobs here tonight. We see a battle going on between Charles Stevens Jr. and Logan Sturgeon. This battle continues side by side, and Sturgeon's going to come out on top and maintain that 5th position. Just behind now Jason Lottridge and Charles Stevens Jr. going at it. Lottridge going to run out of momentum. Tuck back in line behind Charles Stevens Jr. Jonah Cobert leads over Eddie Smith, but Eddie not going away. And neither is Mike Kosick. They both are within a few car lengths of each other. As Jonah crosses the line, we have just 40 laps to go. Brandon Wallace, Daniel Cunningham going at it back in the back half of the field. Great side-by-side battle. This is for 10th and 11th. Neither one of them really wanted to give up their position, as Josh Lokovitz is coming into the mix here as well. So making a 3-horse race. for that 10th position. Cunningham's going to win that battle along with Logan Vitz. Although here comes Brandon Wallace fighting back on the low side. Up front, Logan Sturgeon has Charles Stevens Jr. all over that back bumper. Sturgeon, though, currently able to stay out in front. Oh, some contact between Charles Stevens Jr. and Logan Sturgeon. And the 88's going to move that's 26 right out of the way. Sturgeon probably not too happy with that. As he makes an attempt to get back to the back bumper of Charles Stevens Jr., but just not close enough. But he's got a chance going down into turn number 1. Cofield says he hates he missed this race, got home a little late. Looks like they're having a ton of fun. It does look like they're having a ton of fun out there. Although some look like they're having a little more fun than others. As Logan Sturgeon does not look very happy at the moment with the 88 of Charles Stevens Jr. Up front, Jonah Colbert has Eddie Smith all over that back bumper. Smith trying to take the lead back away from Jonah. Eddie has caught the 31, but just can't find a way to get around that 31 machine. John throws a little block there down the straightaway, trying to take Eddie's entry away into the corner to keep him behind. But here comes Eddie, putting the power down and getting down underneath Jonah as they come down the backstretch. Down into turns 3 and 4, and Eddie Smith is going to take that position away. And now Mike Kosick right there, trying to capitalize on Jonah Colbert's inability to run the line he wants due to Eddie Smith making the move around him. A little further back, we've got this big battle still going on back here as Logan Sturgeon trying to get around the 48 of Jason Lottridge after Lottridge got a little loose off of turn number 2. Lehman now trying to get that 7th position away from Jason Lottridge. And just behind we see Daniel Cunningham and Tyler Rice side by side as well. Instead, it looks like Jason Lottridge is going to lose that 9th position to Daniel Cunningham. Tyler Rice parks it there in the corner. Now allows Lottridge to get back around. Meanwhile, back up front, Jonah Colbert has Mike Kosick trying to run him down. As we're getting down to the last quarter of the race. Eddie Smith, who's led most of the laps here tonight, continues to lead over Jonah Colbert. Mike Kosick sits back in the third position. Andy Kurtz, 3 seconds behind our leaders in fourth. And you got to go another 3 seconds to the 88 of Charles Stevens Jr. Logan Sturgeon in a battle with Matt Kleeman. That's a battle for 6th and 7th, respectively. Jason Lottridge right behind in 8th. Tyler Rice and Daniel Cunningham all there as well. Matt Kleeman now takes a look to the outside of Jason Lottridge. He's going to take that position away, so move Kleeman up into the 7th position. Oh, Tyler Rice is around. Caution is out. I took my eyes away from the action for just a second. And that's going to bring up another Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind. Looks like this might have started. Now we see Tyler Rice running way up on the high side here. Just, you see that back end starting to come around. Up out of the racing groove. Makes a little contact with the outside wall. Almost comes down into the 48 of Jason Lottridge. We see Daniel Cunningham avoiding the incident. Here comes Brandon Wallace, just nowheres to go as the 6 makes hard contact with the 99. Josh Oswald says, kill the 99, attaboy T. Rice. And that's exactly what Tyler Rice did, was just killed the 99. Eddie Smith on pit road. See who's going to win the race off here. It's going to be close, but Eddie Smith is going to beat Jonah Colbert off. Mike Kosick comes out in, well, 4th. Andy Kurtz 5th. Charles Stevens Jr. in 6th. Logan Sturgeon back in 7th. Matt Kleeman, Jason Lottridge, and Daniel Cunningham make up your top 10 as you see Tyler Rice still on pit road getting some damage fixed up from that incident. Same with Brandon Wallace in the 99. So Chris Reese stays out. Looks like he's going to gamble a little bit to try to get some track position. If he's able to hold on to this top spot, he would currently be our biggest mover of the race with 15 positions. We'll see how they line up when they come to the start-finish line. Now, with that pick-a-line rule, They have to commit before the start finish line to keep from getting a black flag on their own as well. And now it looks like he's going to make his way down onto pit road, realizing that staying out there with that old of tires, he's just going to be a sitting duck. So that's going to give the lead back to the 87 of Eddie Smith, as the sun is starting to set here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Eddie Smith is going to choose the high side. Jonah Colbert's going to sit back in second. Andy Kurtz on the high lane. Mike Kosick down on the bottom. Logan Sturgeon down in fifth, with Charles Stevens Jr. back in sixth. Jason Lottridge in seventh. Matt Kleeman in eighth. Daniel Cunningham will restart in 10th, with Steve McDonald in ninth. So here we go. Pace car is in. Eddie Smith is going to lead him back down to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. And again, we are back to racing as Jonah Colbert's going to tuck in behind Eddie Smith. Mike Kosick down to the bottom, trying to get around Charles Stevens Jr. He will take away that fourth position. Chris Reese and Josh Lokovitz battling side by side. And Reese is going to move himself up into the 10th position. Andy Kurtz under attack from the 8 of Mike Kosick, trying to get up onto the podium. And Kosick is going to move right around with a little slide job in front of Kurtz. Almost catches the wall. They'll move Kosick up into the 3rd position. Now Charles Stevens Jr. trying to run down the 5 to move himself up into the 4th position. All these drivers pushing hard right now. They know there's under 20 laps to go. These tires are good for about 20 laps. And that's what they're going to do, is try to use them up here in this last stint. Eddie Smith is pushing hard. Currently ran a 33.5. This time by Eddie Smith is going to run a 33.57. Jonah Colbert 33.64. They are your 2 fastest cars. Mike Kosick ran a 33.6 flat. So our top 3 are our 3 fastest cars out on the track. That time by Jonah Colbert ran the fastest lap of the race. So all these drivers battling for position as we see Chris Reese trying to get around the 48 of Jason Lottridge to take over that 9th position. See a couple drivers use that short track mentality, use the bumper to get around. But Reese trying to make the clean pass here. However, Jason Lottridge is going to have the strength to pull back in front of the 62. But Reese going to have a run here, going to try it again. Oh, the 62 of Reese goes around down into the infield. Stays off the inside wall. We stay green flag racing, but not really sure if Reese had a little help there. Let's see if we can take a look from the blimp. Nope, just lost it all by himself. Tries to get it going back in the right direction as he comes back onto the track. Nails the gas and unfortunately loops it into the wall. Nobody coming though, so that does not bring out a caution. So now he's on pit road as the rest of the field is left to race. Next time by, we'll have just 10 laps to go. Logan Sturgeon starting to run down the 88 of Charles Stevens. We saw the contact that they made earlier in the race. See if that comes back to bite Charles Stevens Jr. Yeah, Jonathan Cofield says that turn 2 exit been a little rough. It sure has. Sturgeon still trying to get back to that 88. Brandon Pollock says he missed the race. He totally forgot about it, to be honest. Figured a couple people were stuck in the flight simulator instead of here on the racetrack. Matt Kleeman right here in the mix, running down the 26 of Logan Sturgeon. And Kleeman looking down to the inside, but just not close enough to get that move made. And right behind Daniel Cunningham, trying to make a move as well. Almost used the bumper to get around Kleeman as they come down to the stripe. Just 8 laps to go. And Cunningham just not quite close enough. I thought Cunningham might have had something for Kleeman right there, but as they run, they do not. And here's Field going around the 99 of Brandon Wallace, who's a couple laps down. Cunningham's right back to the back bumper. Cofield said he took his wife out for a steak and it wasn't right, so they had to cook it again. I blame her. Of course you would. She's not here to hear you say it. I would do the same thing. Don't get me talking on food, though, because I could go for a nice juicy steak. After being on the diet that I've been on for the last month. As Kleeman's making a move down to the inside of Logan Sturgeon. Oh, Sturgeon having a little connection issue there. He's back now as Kleeman trying to get down to the inside. And Sturgeon's able to pull away up on that high side. Cunningham now try to take the momentum loss into his favor from the 19. But Kleeman's able to get back around Daniel Cunningham, and Jason Lotridge was thinking about making a move down underneath Daniel Cunningham, as here comes Kleeman again on that low side. Kleeman's going to clear the 26 of Sturgeon with just 3 laps to go. Eddie Smith continues to lead. He's way out in front of second place Jonah Colbert, almost a second between them. And then there's a half second between second and third, Mike Kosick. Then you got to go 3 seconds back to find fourth place, Andy Kurtz. And then the battles that we've been watching, Charles Stevens Jr. running back in fifth. But he's got a hard charging Matt Kleeman in this group of angry drivers right now trying to get themselves in a position. We see Daniel Cunningham looking all over the back bumper of Logan Sturgeon. Oh, Sturgeon gets loose off the corner. Able to hold on to it. Almost took out Daniel Cunningham. Talked about how tough that turn 2 exit has been all race long. And we see it again as Sturgeon just lost control coming off of turn number 2. And the white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go for Eddie Smith, who's just got to put together 4 smooth corners as he makes his way off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch, and just a half a lap to go for the 87 of Eddie Smith. Down into turn 3 and 4 for the last time. Eddie Smith is going to make his way off of turn number 4. And Eddie Smith is going to be your winner here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Jonah Colbert's going to come home second. And Mike Kosick back in the 3rd position. Andy Kurtz in 4th, and top 5 will be Charles Stevens Jr. But it's all about our man, Alien Eddie, getting it done yet again. Eddie Smith's going to come down to the front stretch, and he's going to burn it right down as the Rebels Demolition Derby takes place around Eddie Smith. The most unique tradition in any iRacing league I've seen. And we'll take a look at the final results. Again, Eddie Smith is your winner. Jonah Colbert comes home second. Mike Kosick, Andy Kurtz, and Charles Stevens Jr. round out your top five. Matt Kleeman coming back for a sixth place finish. Daniel Cunningham in seventh, and Josh Lokovich, your biggest mover of the race, up 9 spots into eighth. Ninth place will be Logan Sturgeon, and then Jason Lotridge round out your top 10. Steve McDonald, he'll come home in 11th. Matt Knights in 12th. William Griffith, Chris Reese, and Brandon Wallace round out your top 15. Tyler Rice in 16th. Ray Page in 17th. Aaron Johnson 18th, and Mike Bertosa Jr. back in the 19th position. As we get ready to talk to our top three, starting with your third place finisher, the 8 of Mike Kosick. Mike, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, a tale of 2 races here tonight. One, the long green flag runs split up by some yellow flags, almost like stage breaks. Did that help you guys out at all as far as strategy, or were you kind of wishing we went green flag to see how the tires would have wore out, and because you think we would have had any thing to change around?
I'm not sure if it helped strategy-wise, but they definitely came at good timing because my car was getting real squirrely off the corner, so getting new tires definitely helped out a little bit. I don't think I had anything for Eddie or Jonah. I was just telling them the faster I was going, the faster they were going.
For sure. And turn 2, you're talking about the tires getting real squirrely. It seemed like turn 2 was a bit of a trouble spot on that line. Drivers having a little bit of an issue with that corner. Can you talk us through what was going on out there as far as the tire situation and the grip levels?
Yeah, I thought we were going to have to worry about saving the right front for this race, but the right rear just seemed to be wearing out real quick. Yeah, coming off turn 2, it was pretty much loose every single lap from the start of a run to the end of a run.
Yeah, for sure. But able to bring it home in third. Good points night for you tonight. I know you were kind of a little bit back in the 12th position, but good points night. Going to move you up a little bit. So before I let you go, anyone you want to thank? Any shout-outs you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, thank Kinder Farm and Ranch, Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, you guys at Intensity Broadcasting for putting on a race. It's always fun to go back and watch it. All the admins for running the league, and my teammates Steve McDonald and Jonathan Cofield.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations. I know Cofield was rooting for you in the chat here tonight. And again, congrats on the podium. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
That was your third place finisher, Mike Kosick. Let's bring in your second place finisher, Jonah Colbert. Jonah, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Josh.
Man, a great run for you here tonight. Coming home P2. You and Eddie seem to be matching speed for the most part, but just never able to run him back down when he got around you. I'm going to ask you kind of the same question I asked Mike there. The way that the cautions fell, it almost seemed like stage racing in a sense. Did that help you guys out a little bit as far as speed, or did you think you might have had something on the long run?
I don't know. I felt like long run I was fine. I burnt my tires up that last run though, just because there was 25 to go. But I don't know. It didn't really seem to matter. I think clean air was a bigger deal than anything. Because when I got out front, Eddie said he didn't know how he's going to pass me, and when he was in front of me, once I got within a half second, I couldn't gain anymore because the car would just start pushing. So I think it was just whoever made a mistake or made the least amount of mistakes is what it kind of came down to. And I just made too many mistakes and got loose there off the corner, and that was it for me. So
yeah, we saw a bunch of drivers getting real loose off of turn number 2, And what's the best way to help that? What's the best way to try to mitigate that looseness off the corner by heating up that right wheel? Is there anything you can do differently to kind of change that?
You could probably put like an eggshell under your pedal or something so you don't push all the way down. I don't know, because I mean, I was like 25% throttle off of turn two most of the time, and it was still trying to get loose on me. And that I was on older tires, so I don't really know that there's much you can do other than running that middle line. The lower you go on the track, the more loose it was. So it seems like people that were going low off of two were probably having the most trouble with it. I noticed if I got too low, like below that black line, it would get sideways, and it wasn't even like a throttle issue. It was just more how much speed you were carrying. Like if you back the corner entry up and try to get on the throttle sooner and carried too much speed off two, that transition off of two would just make the car lose its grip, and it would try to turn on you. So not a lot you could do except for drive it in deep and just hold on and feather it off the corner.
There you have it. So I got again a nice points night for you tonight. I know you and Eddie having some good runs there towards the end. And before I let you go, anything you want to thank, any shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Shout out to Intensity Broadcasting for putting these races on for us every week. It's good to come out and watch them. Shout out to Michael Kostek there on his podium. It was fun running there with him. He's always a good, clean driver. It's always a joy to race around him. Shout out to my teammates there at JC Motorsports, Eddie Smith, Daniel Cunningham, Chris Reese. I think who was it? We had in Charles Stevens was in there tonight. So yeah, and then Eddie. Obviously, shout out to Eddie for the win. It's always fun racing him. Like you said, it's back and forth, and we were just having a good time. So it was a fun race.
For sure. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up position, and as the season goes on, good luck to you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, man.
That was second place. Jonah Colbert, let's bring in your winner. In the Discord, it says Eddie the King. We're going to start calling him the Professor because all he does is put on clinics here at these racetracks. Eddie, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Josh.
Man, another win for you here. It seems like it's all too often we're talking to each other here on these nights. But, man, again, another clinic putting on here at a flat, tough track here like Gateway or Worldwide Technology Raceway. You seem to be the only one that was able to not get super loose off of turn two. I know a lot of people were saying that the cars were driving sideways all night long. What were you able to do differently than those guys to keep the car underneath you?
Well, I wasn't. I was definitely just as loose. Yeah, I was me and Jonah and Cossack felt like we were all fighting the same thing there. So, it was a nice little battle up front. So it was just, you kind of drive deep down in the corner and you get on the gas about halfway and just hold it. And just if you feel like it's going to come around, you lift a little bit. And if you feel like it's going too slow, you push the throttle a little bit more. It was just constantly working that throttle. You just had to be super patient.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was really tough to get a pass made here tonight. I know Jonah was talking about how precious the clean air was. What was it like out there trying to make those passes, and what was the best way to set those up? Was it like corner before, or was it something you just had to kind of feel out?
I didn't pass anybody. I never passed anybody all night that was a legit pass. Jonah beat me out of pit road on one of those pit stops, and I couldn't do anything with him. He got loose, so just waiting for him to make a mistake, and he made just a tiny one, and was able to get by him. But if I needed to pass him, straight up, I'm just not sure that I could. So I don't know. I don't know what the secret would have been to passing. If all equal tires and skill level pretty equal, I don't know if you can make a pass without going down in the corner and moving somebody up the groove.
Yeah, we saw that a couple times here tonight, but we know you'd like to not use that bumper and race people clean. So congratulations on another win here tonight, Eddie. Before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out, anyone you want to thank here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Clean Air for the sponsorship tonight, helping me get that win. Pit crew did a great job getting me out in front of Jonah on that last pit stop, which pretty much sealed the deal. But I want to thank Jonah and Cossack for a good race. I mean, even though it was hard to pass, you couldn't make a mistake up there. or you were going to get passed. So it's always good to have that kind of pressure, and the pressure was definitely on. So I want to thank those guys for always racing clean and hard. It's fun. Thank you for broadcast. Thank Jonah and Daniel for being the commissioner of this league, putting on a good league so far. The racing has been pretty fun, and yeah, so want to thank everybody in Rebels, and thank you, of course, for broadcasting, and Intensity for always supporting Rebels. We definitely appreciate y'all 100% because y'all have always been there for us. So definitely appreciate y'all's support too. So yeah, just a good race. Glad to get that win. And yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the win and the clean air, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, sir.
Have a great night.
Yeah.
That was your winner here tonight, Eddie Smith, getting the win at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Of course, big congratulations to him and everybody with a great run here tonight. It was a fun race. Tough to pass. We kind of expected that tonight, but all in all, congratulations to everybody out there. Don't forget to join us. Well, we won't have any racing on Sunday night as the original Rebels truck doubleheader will be taking the night off. We do have a new league that will be starting up in a couple weeks on Monday nights. Tuesday night, we'll be returning with the SCSRA Truck Series, and Wednesday night is the SCSRA Xfinity Series. So tune in, hit that notification button, that subscribe button. That way you know whenever we have live racing here on Intensity Broadcasting. Again, one more time, we want to thank and congrats Eddie Smith for the win, and thank everybody for watching here tonight. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over